everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for being here. Oh my god, I know I'm not the most consistent person, but I'm really trying my best. No one told me life with a baby was this hard, but it is. But we're doing it. If this is your first time here, like I said, my name is Gabby, and I feel like I'm still trying to discover what my niche is gonna be. For right now, it's mostly motherhood because I just became a mom 4 months ago, and it's been the most incredible experience. And I want to be that person that shares it all. I don't want to be that person that is holding something back just because it's the norm to hold things back. I want to share as much as I can. I want to bring you guys on this journey with me, and I also don't want to scare you guys because it is the most beautiful experience. So I'm gonna try to find a balance. If this is your first time watching my video, thank you for being here. Please do not forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Every support means so much to me. Thank you very much. Today I will be sharing some things that I did to increase my breast milk supply. The first few weeks, the first 2 weeks especially after I had my son, it was really hard because I am a first-time mom, and I never knew how big of a deal breastfeeding is. I did take 2 breastfeeding classes, and I could tell you that still did not make it any easier. Breastfeeding is a lot of work mentally and physically, and I feel like people don't talk about it a lot. Well, maybe because some people decide that if it's draining them mentally, they'd rather not breastfeed. Maybe because some people don't get enough supply, or maybe because in general women are always being judged for not breastfeeding their kids. Maybe that's why. I just feel like no one really talked about it a lot. Even my mom never really talked about it a lot until I became a mom, and then she told me more about breastfeeding and the fact that I only breastfed for 3 months. So I am sharing things that I did personally to increase my supply, and obviously this might work for everyone. This might not work for everyone. This is just what worked for me personally, and what worked for me might not work for you. So I'm just sharing my experience in this part. First thing first, when I had my baby, the first few days, well, at the hospital, I wasn't really engorged, but he wasn't really latching good. And I remember the nurse telling me that she's going to call in a lactation consultant for me, which she did. And they spoke to me and they told me that he has a little bit of tongue tie, which shouldn't be a problem. And that, you know, if I get home and I'm not latching well, or he's not latching well, I could go see a lactation consultant. One thing I feel about hospital these days is they do not educate you enough. Like, seriously, they try to, like, after you have your baby, they're just like pushing you to go home, which is like, I need more education. Well, I guess I should be the one getting education myself and not rely on a doctor or nurse for that, I guess. So when we got home, I breastfed him that first day, but then the night of the first day, actually, I got engorged, which is pretty normal. Also might be because I was hand pressing more than breastfeeding, even at the hospital, because I was at the hospital for like 3 days. I didn't have any problem leaving. They just wanted me to stay longer, which I later found that the longer I stay, the more money they get. Even after I was telling them that I want to go home, they still made me stay longer. Anyways, that's another story for another day. So after I got home, I was engorged and it hurt so bad. My breasts were like 5 times bigger than normal. They were hurting, so I couldn't breastfeed my baby. So that first day, we did give him formula. I tried to hand press and pump, and it was still really engorged even the next day. Anyways, I tried using hot water, taking hot bath, and doing the whole hacker, putting hot water in a hacker with Epsom salt and trying to release the milk that got it, because I think it was engorged because I wasn't breastfeeding my kid enough. Also, the first few weeks, I swear that boy was eating literally every hour or every 2 hours, sometimes not even up to 2 hours. It was tiring. I was exhausted. I wasn't getting enough sleep. I literally haven't slept for like 3 days straight. Like, I really love the fact that I got to see my son. I love to smell him and carry him and cuddle him, but I was also really exhausted and I needed rest. So I think that kind of affected my breast milk supply, because after my husband went back to work 2 weeks after he was born, it was just me alone at home, and it was really hard, very difficult. He was late, because if he wasn't late, my husband would have been home a little longer, but he was late, so he literally wasted all his time at home. And I remember me just like feeling like I wasn't getting enough breast milk, especially when I go on social media and I see all these people having freezers full of milk. And I'm just like, what the hell am I doing wrong? Like, why am I not getting all this breast milk? I was really hard on myself, but I was also really stressed as a first time mom and feeling like I knew what I was doing. But then when it comes to time to do it, I wasn't doing it, I guess. It was just a lot to handle, really, mentally. I wasn't really getting enough breast milk. And I remember my sister came July 14 to visit. And that's when, even as breastfeeding my kid, he would latch for a few minutes and stop latching. And then we eventually give him a bottle. It was just a lot, like, because it felt like I was doing both. I'd rather bottle feed him or breastfeed him for the first 3 months. I don't want to have to do both, which is he latches for 5 minutes, he's not full, and then I have to pump and get a bottle ready. And it was just too much for me. But I decided to pump during the day and breastfeed at night. That worked better for us. Also, it worked better for us, really. So I kept trying to pump, but the mistake I was making is touching my boobs and seeing if it's hard and then pumping. And the way breast milk work is kind of tricky because the more you get out, the more you get in. So this is what I did to increase my breast milk supply. First, I pumped regularly. I started with the power pump, and power pump is pumping for 20, resting for 5, pumping for 10, resting for 5, pumping for another 20 and resting for 5. I did the power pump and it actually really worked for me. So I was trying my best, I said, to literally pump every 3 hours. That was my goal, that I was gonna pump every 3 hours and see if that helps increase my breast supply. Because I started reading a lot of like articles and stuff on how like supply and demand works with breast milk. So I was feeding my kid and I was also pumping every 3 hours. Girl, like that was the hardest thing I've pretty much ever done, especially because like my husband wasn't really home to, he was home at night and during the day he has to work. So it was really hard. I also started eating better because I swear, like the first few days, I promise, I probably ate once a day. I was barely drinking water and I was just stressed. And I realized once I started sleeping better, that also helped me. So resting, not stressing, and not stressing and resting actually helped it's weird to say that, but it actually helped my breast milk supply go up. So me resting, me pumping frequently helped, me eating very good. So I was nourishing my body, because one thing I always say is like, your body helps you so much. Like it does so much for you. The best you could do for it is actually nourish it. And by nourishing my body, I mean like, I don't even eat processed food to begin with, but cutting out processed food like 100%, eating my vegetables, eating my fruit. I was doing more fiber because trust me, if you have a baby, you know that constipation after a baby is real. So, and the hemorrhoids ain't joking either. So I was making sure to up my fiber intake. I was eating whole grain, mostly like brown rice. I was making sure I ate my broccoli, my asparagus, my vegetables in general, eating more fruit, drinking more water, because obviously you're like producing so much milk. You definitely need to up your water intake. So I was drinking a lot of water, like a lot of water. I am not like forcing myself to drink it, but I'm remembering to drink it, like, take a sip or two every hour, just to remind myself that I don't want to get dehydrated, because if I get dehydrated, then I get tired and then I get stressed, and I just have a new baby, and that's the last thing I needed. So I was making sure that I drink enough water as often as possible. I went back to taking my prenatal vitamins because I know I'm done having, I'm not pregnant anymore, and I'm not planning to be pregnant anytime soon again. But prenatal vitamin just comes with a lot of nutrients in there. You have enough iron, enough B6, vitamin B6, vitamin B12, and you definitely still need all these vitamins because your body's still doing so much. So I started taking my prenatal vitamins, every other day, as much as I can, pretty much, if I remember. I try to take that. I literally made a list because I know I was gonna forget. So I started taking my prenatal vitamins. I started drinking a lot of water. I started nourishing my body because my body is doing so much for me at the time. So I make sure that I am, taking care of my body because it's taking care of me. I also started sleeping better. Obviously, with a newborn, They tell you that nap when the baby naps doesn't exist. First, I'm not a napper. Naps make me tired. Like I wake up cranky and I don't need that. So I really try to sleep. Sometimes my husband do the feeding so I can get more sleep, and that really helped me a lot, like just sleeping. And once like 2 weeks after I have my baby, I started going on a regular walk. Like I make sure to walk at least 30 minutes a day. Walking actually helped me a lot because, you know, just being in nature and getting sun in, and just, you know, it actually helps me. It did help me out a lot. And, you know, I realized that literally a week after doing these things religiously, like drinking water, nourishing my body, taking a walk, and pumping on demand and feeding on demand, I swear guys, my breast supply increased. I mean, in like the next week, I had so many like milk. It was crazy. Like I had in the fridge, I had in the freezer, I had so much milk, guys. Like 2 weeks later, I had to buy a freezer. That's how much I had. You know, then again, it might be because I'm just one of those lucky people who have an oversupply. Not every lady, not every woman is that lucky. And I'm so blessed to actually have that much supply. And it just made me go back to thinking, like, a few weeks before that, I was like, oh my God, look at all these people having so much breast milk and freezing some, and I don't even have any, to being that person that has to buy a freezer just to freeze some milk. So like, it was just incredible. And I realized the more I did that, the more milk I was getting, which was crazy because usually they tell you, this is my opinion, right? This is definitely my opinion. The whole idea of eating certain food to get more breast milk, I don't believe in it. As a Nigerian, they tell you to drink pap, which is like a corn pudding. It's like custard but made with corn. I was drinking that a lot my first 2 weeks and really didn't do much with my breast milk. I made sure though that, you know, nourishing my body includes eating granolas. You know, I actually was making my own granola, include eating yogurt. I was drinking a lot of yogurt. I was eating oatmeal a lot. I was trying to have vegetables and fruit in every meal of the day. I make sure to eat 3 times a day because you lose about 700 calories a day from breastfeeding and pumping. That's a lot of calories. So you need to actually make sure that you're eating good and healthy, and at least trying to be healthy. Like try at least. I know it's hard also, but try at least to be healthy. And I promise that actually helped my supply. So doing this thing religiously helped my supply. And as I speak right now, I pretty much have about 650 ounces of milk in my freezer. I am mind blown. Like I am just like mind blown. Like even now it got to an extent that I had to cut out pumping every 3 hours to pumping every 4 hours, because every round I pump, I literally get 8 to 12 ounces of breast milk every 3 hours. So that was a lot. I mean, my baby eats, but not really that much. Even at night, I still wake up every 3-4 hours to pump. So now I cut it back to pumping every 4 hours because it was kind of draining me mentally, especially now that I'm back to work. It's a lot. So at 8-hour shifts at work, I pump once. I pump before I go to work. I pump right when I get back from work, and then I pump before I go to bed. So I literally pump about 4 or 5 times in a day, and I'm still getting about 12 to 15 ounces every time I pump. Sometimes I'm engorged, which means forget to pump. You know, like when I go out or when I go to church or when I go out with my friends, I forget to pump. And I really wanted to buy the electric pump, but then I heard a lot of bad things about it, you know, like how it reduces your milk supply, and I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't ready to spend $500 just to get my milk supply increased, so I just didn't get that. Also, when I pump, I try to massage my breast, which means I'm like pumping down or pumping side or pressing down on it or pressing sideways. That actually helps you get out all the breast milk, and that actually gives you more fat in your breast milk. I don't know if fat in your breast milk means your baby's getting more calories or not, but you know, this is what I've noticed every time I massage my breast. So yes, these are the things that I did to increase my breast supply. I am very aware that this doing this doesn't work for everyone. This is just what worked for me. I am not a lactation consultant, so I pretty much am learning as I go too, and I'm just willing to share what I've learned so far. So if you want to try what I did, go for it. If you want to see a lactation consultant, which I did twice and my baby was still not latching good enough. The last time I get pumped, the last time I actually breastfed my baby, like once in a while I try to put it in his mouth, which he only like just for 2 to 5 minutes and gets off it. So I'm guessing he's probably used to bottle, and that works for me because then my husband can breastfeed him, my mother, anybody can I'm not breastfeeding, anybody can bottle feed him, which relieves the stress off me again. I also hate the fact that people be like, oh, you're not breastfeeding your kid, how are you bonding with your kid? I change his diaper, I bathe for him, I sing to him, I dance for him, I read to him, I carry him, I put him on my back, I do all these things. So that is also me helping him, that's also me bonding with him. Well, this is all I have to share today. If you guys like my video, please do not forget to subscribe, like, comment, share. Thank you guys so much for all your support so far. Please do not forget to share this video. I will see you again next time on here sharing my motherhood experience. Have a good day.